Let's ask who is the more frugal between us. Charlie, who do you think is?
Well, in personal consumption, Warren is more frugal.
Everyone has to start saving somewhere, and chances are you're starting from a low income. You could also want to live on as little as possible just to save more. Both of these situations ask the same question. What's the smallest income you need so that you can survive comfortably? In this video, I'll show some secret tips from Warren Buffett on how he's managed to live on a low income and how you can too. Number 1. Downsize your living space. I've heard a saying that the bigger your house is, the bigger the expenses are. It may be a nice dream to think about or even live in a big home, but it can take a serious toll on you and your finances if you're on a low income. With a bigger home, you'll have a bigger mortgage and bigger utility bills, and your maintenance bills will be massive. Let's have a look at Warren Buffett in this case. He bought a home in 1958 for $31,500. Even in our time, which is a little over $300,000, that's an extremely low price. The funny part is that he only bought this home because they needed to upgrade from their current lifestyle. At this point, he already had kids with his wife, and their current apartment was just too small regarding space. Not surprisingly, since Warren Buffett is very frugal, he's kept his house and slowly upgraded it over the years. It's worth much more now, but that's not the point. He only bought a home that he could afford and that he actually needed. If you apply the same principle to your life, you'll have a much easier time saving money on a low income. Number 2. Pay cash for everything you buy. Oftentimes, cash can get you better deals than buying with a debit or a credit card. For starters, almost all businesses have to pay a fee somewhere around the 3% mark for every single customer that purchases items using a debit or a credit card. The reason is the processing fees, so even the business has to pay for the convenience. If you offer to pay in cash, chances are that you'll be able to negotiate a lower price since you're doing the business a bonus by helping them avoid the transaction fee. While we're on the topic of negotiation, cash is probably the most useful tool to negotiate good deals. When we think of cash, we may not realize the effect it has on certain companies. For example, if you want to buy a big-ticket item, but instead of getting a loan you want to pay cash, you have bigger sway on negotiation. The reason is that cash is something that can be utilized right away and is absolutely guaranteed to the company. Most companies will fight to keep you as a customer instead of someone who's paying more but not using cash. It pays off to use cash, so start today. Number 3. Cut your food expenses. Food is an obvious household expense that one can't cut off. However, you can reduce the amount you spend on food greatly. In fact, it's one of the biggest expenses that any household carries. One thing that can really help you get into the mindset of saving is to walk through a grocery store, or even just sit at your computer and think about how lucky and privileged we are to basically buy any food item from anywhere around the world we want at any time. This thought alone helped me appreciate food more and also helped me save more. However, some more active methods are always basing your meals on cheap but nutritious pantry staples. These are things like flour, bread, pasta, rice, and beans. These are all cheap filler foods that can help sustain you longer for cheaper. If you want to go a step further, start incorporating more fiber-rich foods into your diet as they slow digestion and help keep you full for longer, making you eat less in the long run. Number 4. No impulse purchases. Maybe you want a new pair of sunglasses, some new clothes for spring or summer, or maybe that new watch that's on sale at Amazon. While these may make you feel really good, it can have lasting impacts that don't feel so good. The hardest part is that often the incentive to avoid these impulsive purchases to save instead is just not good enough. To overcome this, you really need to dig deep and find something that will make you feel better than an impulsive purchase. The other option is to work on a reward system. For example, there are people who work out almost every day, but they don't really like it. Instead, they benefit from the reward of feeling and looking good. In your case, maybe after you've saved a little bit of money, you can reward yourself with an impulsive purchase or an item you've really wanted. This way, you can maintain a low income without blowing all your cash by buying every new item you see on Amazon or some other store. Number 5. Change your mindset. In the same vein, frugal living and saving money is a highly psychological endeavor. In fact, Warren Buffett has become so successful because he understands this concept. Essentially, his mindset is driven by what makes him happy, and that's nothing other than investing and being frugal. Of course, your path will be different than Warren Buffett's, as you need to find out your own way to save your money. A great first place to start is what makes you happy. What are those things that you really feel like you live for? It could be travel, or it could be just keeping up with the latest fashion trends. Regardless of the case, your life should be geared towards enjoying those things. When you do this, you can save up in other areas that are on the lower priority list. For example, you may not be a big internet user and have no issue sticking to the good mobile internet plan instead. Doing this could easily save you $50 to $100 a month on internet charges, which is $50 to $100 to save or enjoy your hobbies. Before I continue, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 6. Lower your utility bills. Utilities are always going to be present in your life, and that means you'll always be paying for them. There are so many categories of utilities like water, electricity, phones, internet, and garbage services. All of these can add up to your monthly bills, and while most of them can't be cut off, nearly all of them can be reduced in one way or another. You can easily lower your water bill by taking shorter showers and fixing any leaky faucets. While a drop every minute may not seem like a lot, it really adds up in the long run and can save you hundreds of dollars. When it comes to electricity and heating, make sure you turn off all the lights that are not in use and try to use as much natural light as possible. If you can avoid drying your clothes, that's also a great bonus. One tip to really lower your heating and cooling is to fully insulate your home. Some people use bubble wrap to make sure any gaps in windows or doors are fully sealed. However, it's not the best look. It's actually a great investment to make sure your windows and doors are fully sealed, as it can save you a lot in heating and cooling expenses since your house will be better at holding temperature. Number 7. Avoid loans and get rid of debt. You've heard it before. Debt isn't the enemy, but it really can be your worst nightmare if you let it get out of hand. This all really depends on your situation, but most of the time, paying off your debt will really make a difference in your life. Even having a low income but no debt can make you feel like you're rich. For example, my partner and I, we don't have any debt except our mortgage, and our income right now is under the median in our neighborhood, yet we are continuously saving money every single month with ease. There are a few things that you can do to make sure you're reducing debt. Firstly, avoid garnering more debt or taking on more loans. Secondly, gear yourself towards clearing debt first and foremost. The faster you can clear it, the easier your life will be, and the more you'll enjoy the things you love. Do you have a tip or trick for living on a low budget that we haven't mentioned? Let us know in the comments below. Number 8. Make a budget. One of the most important things you can do is have a budget to keep track of your finances well. It doesn't need to be overly strict, but you should have a good idea of how much you're spending every month. You should track your expenses for at least 3 months to give yourself a good idea on how much you spend and what you can do to save more money. Unfortunately, and I'm included in this, keeping up with expenses on a spreadsheet can feel like a drag, especially trying to keep up with it every day. Luckily, there are so many apps available that are excellent at keeping track of a budget for you. One of the best free apps is called Mint, which you can use straight from your phone. Once you have those expenses tracked, you can figure out just how much you want to be left over every month so you can enjoy your life to the fullest.